Hey YouTube! Okay, so before we even dig into this video, if you're not subscribed to me, subscribe. If you like me, subscribe. If you are subscribed to me, thank you for coming back. Invite others to subscribe. I need to get to 1,000 subscribers, okay? Because YouTube is playing my life out. Like, I haven't put all this work into my channel. Anywho, I could rant about this on a different day. Anywho, I am here to do the video review for one of my faves on TV, The Haves and the Have-Nots. This is Season 5, Episode 3, titled Undercover Vice. Now, I'll get to what the meaning of Undercover Vice is and all that, but yeah, let me start off by saying this is the third episode, and I am highly impressed. Like, this was like jaw-dropping, okay? And it takes a lot for my jaw to drop, okay? This was jaw-dropping. Like, I was like, yes, Tyler Perry, yes! Like, you're giving me what I need. Like, oh my gosh, the twists and turns at the end of this is like, okay, anywho, I will get to that, okay? Let me hurry up and get to the end of this review so y'all can understand this excitement. But anywho, so let's just dig right on in. Okay, so it starts off where it left off, of course, with Benny caught in the hall with Veronica. He hurries up and snatches his hand back because he was holding her hand and his mother caught him. So of course she's all questioning him like, what are you doing? Why are you here with her? Why was you holding her hand? Benny's like, look, it's not even like that. I promise it's not like that. Like, first of all, what are you doing here anyway? She was like, actually, I came here because the morgue called me down here, and little Quincy had some stuff in his pocket. I came to pick it up. Here's this letter that he wrote that he had in his pocket. Read it out loud. Okay, so I told y'all last week I didn't know what the letter said. Thank God they read the letter out loud this week, or I still would not know. But apparently the letter was, I'm paraphrasing it, but little Quincy basically said that, was it like Dear God or something? Maybe it was, but he wants Hannah to stop yelling all the time and stop yelling at his mother specifically, and he wants his mother to get her life together so that she can be a good mother to him and be in his life. And he just wants everything to be all well with their family and to cut out the foolishness, in other words. And you know what? If a child can see this, then clearly they should be able to see this, right? I guess not, because we're dealing with Hannah and Candice, and they're about as stubborn as it gets. But anywho, we'll get to that later on. Okay, so she's going back and forth with him still, with Benny, Hannah with Benny, like, are you still sleeping with that woman? Why are you down here with her? He's like, look, she got into an accident. She just wanted me to come with her down here. She just wants support. Look, I'm trying to be nice to her because I don't know how deep this situation is going to get with this whole case and everything. And she's a really good lawyer. And honestly, I may need her in the future. So look, I'm just trying to get in where I can fit in and stay in a good place, okay? But I'm not sleeping with her. That is not going on. So Hannah is like, yeah, you know that she's dangerous, you know. Just stay away from her. By the way, where is Candice? Now, y'all know, Hannah asked about Candice at least once a season, okay? Like, they always have this mother-daughter showdown. So, of course, the question comes up again, where is Candice? And he's like, I'm not taking you to her. Why do you always want to do this? Yeah, we were thinking the same thing. And then she was like, because she needs to see this letter. Even her baby knew that we needed to get this together. We need to get it together. I don't even know why she hates me so much. Like, I thought we got past this. I apologize to her. But she needs to see what this baby left, because this was meant for me and her to see. So, what hotel is she at? He told her. And then she said, well, what's the room number? By now, Mitch has walked up. And, you know, Hannah's not really paying him no mind. She like, look, Mitch, we about to go to the hotel because Benny's going to take me. So, you know, Benny decided, okay, fine, I'll take you. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think you should go, but whatever. While they were standing there, a doctor came up to Benny and was like, Mrs. Harrington is asking for you. And he was like, tell her I'm busy. And so, of course, Hannah looking like, oh, y'all really not together? You expect me to believe that when she's asking for you? And I'm like, Hannah, take a chill pill. Like, he's telling the truth right now. Anywho, so, next scene. So, next thing you know, we are at the bar with Candice at the hotel. Candice is at the bar with, I think his name is Ricky. Like, they're all in on this little prostitution thing going on there. Whatever the case, a guy walks up to Candice to buy her a drink. Right away, she already knows what his intentions are. So she's being very direct. Like, I'm not here for small talk. What do you want? Do you have a credit card? How much are you paying? Okay. And she even says time is money. And he says, well, you look like you're working. She said, no, I look like I'm expensive. And like I said, time is money. This is my room number. Meet me in this room in an hour. And while you're at it, you need to go ahead and talk to your wife one last time tonight. Give your little kisses and hugs over the phone. Goodbyes, because you'll be out late tonight. So let her know that. And he's like, how did you even know I was married? She's like, I can see the tan lines on your hand and you're wasting my time. Now go. And he's like, ooh, you kind of feisty. I kind of like that. We will see this guy again later. Okay, so next scene, we have Landon and Great Value Obama, a.k.a. Charles. Okay, so, last week's episode, they decided they were going to hang out as friends. They were going to drink. I kind of thought maybe Landon is working for Oscar. Maybe he's the inside man. No, Landon always got his own plans, his own ulterior motives, because Landon is low-key checking out Great Value Obama. So they're like taking shots. Landon is thinking like, maybe I can get him drunk, like maybe if I give him some shots, he won't really care what he's doing. Well, little does he know, Great Value Obama, like, he knows how to take him to the head. Like, they're not even affecting him. He's like, look, I can pour another shot. I can keep drinking. Actually, I'm going to end up taking a nap. And Landon is like trying to like talk to him, have small talk. How was the army? I bet you it's really hard being you and the women that throw themselves on you. I see them on you all the time. And he's like, no, it's not even like that. And he's like, every woman wants you. He's like, nope, there's one woman that actually got away. So he's referring to a woman from a long time ago. I don't think he's referring to Candice at this point. But basically, he was in love with her, but then they parted ways. She ended up marrying an athlete, and she moved on with her life. He got into the army because he was in some trouble, and he needed to change his life around. So, of course, at this point, Landon is admiring him even more. He's like, you're on the road to riches. After your presidency, you're going to be so rich, like, everybody's going to want you. And he was like, women love you, and he's like, Great Value Obama's like, look, I don't mix business with pleasure, so none of those women I'm even interested in. So Landon is like, well, would you be interested in somebody who, also has a lot to lose, somebody that's willing to keep a secret? He's like, hint, hint, me. And Great Value Obama is not catching on, okay? Charles is like, dude, I don't know. At this point, I'm tired. I want to take a nap. I want to go to sleep. Meanwhile, Landon is looking at him like a piece of meat, and Charles, he don't see none of this. And Charles is like, no, I'm not interested in anybody. Okay, because as we know, he's still stuck on Candice. So, whatever, he decides to lay down to take a nap. He's getting all undressed and stuff, and Landon is still in the room. Well, Charles isn't thinking anything of it because he's not attracted to Landon. He doesn't realize that Landon is attracted to him. Actually, he thinks that Landon is straight, but Landon is not. So we will see how this unfolds. But that kind of lets me know why Landon acted the way that he did last season with Candice. For one, I know Candice is shady, but for two, of course, Landon didn't want Candice to be with Great Value Obama because he wants him for himself. So we will see what happens with this. Okay, so then we see Detective George. So Detective George is walking down the halls of the county jail. He pulls Jeffrey out of his cell and brings him into the interrogation room. Jeffrey is like, I'm not saying anything without a lawyer. My lawyer will be on the way down here. And then so Detective George is like, okay, you don't have to say anything, but why isn't your lawyer here yet? You've already had your 2 free phone calls. He's like, look, I will get in touch with my lawyer. Don't worry about it. I don't know why my lawyer isn't here yet. And then so Detective George is like, okay, well, can you help me understand why your mother would turn you in? And is it because you were going to testify against her with DA Salison? And he's like, I'm not saying anything without my lawyer. Okay. Then he asked him, do you know George Bosch? He's like, no, I don't know George Bosch. Well, somebody, who is George Bosch? Or something Bosch. No, Judge Bosch. Sorry, do you know Judge Bosch? He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Judge Bosch is Justin, the police officer he's having an affair with. That's his wife. And he's like, well, you seem to know her husband very well. And, of course, Jeffrey is still like, I'm not answering any questions. I'm not talking without my lawyer. Okay, then he says, did you know your mother was in an accident? Jeffrey's like, no, is she okay? He said, and then the detective said, why don't you seem shocked? He's like, I don't know. I've been in here. Like, I'm not answering any of your questions. Okay. Then he said, then the detective asked, does your fiance know about your affair? Did she know that you're living a lie? Like, why would your mother have you do this? Basically trying to get under his skin, trying to like hit all those pressure points. But Jeffrey knows to not open his mouth and answer any questions. So at this point, he tells them, look, I'll give you a third call for you to try to get in touch with your lawyer. And then takes him out of the interrogation room. Okay, so then we get to David and Erica. So we're at David's house. They finish up their little like candlelight picnic dinner on his hardwood floors, and he is like gushing over her, like he can't see the forest from the trees. Is that what they say? I mean, he is head over heels, and she's still playing him. So at this point, he's like, she's like, you don't have any furniture in this house. He's like, yeah, that'd be really nice if you help me decorate. And she's playing hard to get because she doesn't want it to seem so easy, like she set this up. So she's like, I really couldn't do that, and that would be imposing. And he's like, no, like, I want you to be here. Like, trust me. Like, there's like, don't feel like you're like intruding in any type of way. So she's like, okay, I guess I can, whatever. And he's like, well, we're going to have to go back to the condo because I don't have any furniture here. And she's like, my ex-boyfriend may have followed me to the condo. I can't go there. He's like, okay, well, that's fine. Then you can just stay on the bed here and we'll get furniture for here. And she's like, okay, whatever, fake stuff. Then he gives her a kiss, and I guess he's happy with her. Like, he's starting a whole new life. So then, next thing you know, she notices the police outside knocking on the door. That is Justin. So David goes outside to go ask Justin what's going on. Justin said, your son Jeffrey is trying to get in touch with you. He's in trouble. He needs your help. He's in the county jail. His mother turned him in for the murder of Quincy Maxwell. So he's like, she went too far. Okay, I will be down there. So then he comes inside. Erica looks like she's like hiding or something. And so she's playing like the damsel in distress. And she's trying to get information out of David about what's going on. But he's being very vague. He's like, my son just needs my help. His mother just went way too far this time. I'm going to go down to the jail, but I left a key on the counter. You can just stay here. Everything will be fine. You'll be safe. So he's like, okay. Then David calls Veronica and leaves a voicemail like, you went way too far this time. Okay, whatever. Veronica don't care. Well, for one, she don't care because she's in the hospital right now recovering, but we'll get to that. Okay, so the next thing you know, Wyatt is at home. At this point, he has kicked everybody out of his house. He don't have no counselors or nothing. He's mad. He needs to call his crutch, which is Jeffrey. So he calls Jeffrey's phone, but jealous wannabe boyfriend Justin, the police officer, has Jeffrey's phone. So Justin is like, don't call this phone anymore. And so Wyatt is like, dude, are you the creepy police officer? Like, dude, like, you're like freaking me out. I don't know what you and Jeffrey have going on, but you need to give him the phone. He's like, what did I tell you? Don't call his phone again. Do not contact him anymore. Stay away from him. And Wyatt is like, yeah. Whatever. Give him the phone. Dude, you're weird. He was like, don't make me tell you again, okay? Are you at home? Wyatt is like, yeah, I'm at home. He's like, okay, I'm coming to you right now. And then he's like, okay, put Jeffrey on the phone. And so Justin hung up in his face. And at this point, Justin thinks like he's invincible. In his mind, he has killed Veronica, and now he is on his way to kill Wyatt. Whoever needs to disappear to keep Jeffrey in his life, that is what he's willing to do. He is on some real life thin line between love and hate type of stuff. I mean, he's a little worse than Lynn Whitfield at this point. But anyways, so he hangs up the phone on him. Then Wyatt calls right back, and it's like, you've reached the voicemail of Jeffrey Harrington. So what's his face? Justin is sending him straight to voicemail, and he is headed over there to get Wyatt. So let's pray for Wyatt's safety at this point. Okay, Wyatt was recovering. Like, he was kind of making me like him a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. Okay, so the next thing you know, he's on his way over there. Then we see Jarek the Builder. You know, the guy that fixed Hannah's sink last week. So he's walking up to Catherine's house, and she opens up the door. She has more repairs for him to do at her house. So she basically says, did you meet Hannah? What do you think of her? He's like, oh, you're trying to play matchmaker. She's like, no, I mean, her sink was messed up. He said, well, it's interesting because there was like an earring or something in the sink. Like it was purposely put there. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. He was like, okay. She's like, but what did you think? I mean, can I give you her number? And then he's like, no, I don't know if she's interested. How about this? How about you give her my number? And then he was like, she was like, okay, I guess I can try to do that. And then so Derek says, man, between you and Mrs. Harrington, I just don't know what to do with y'all. Y'all are a trip. And he's like, but I hope she's doing okay after the accident. And so Catherine was like, what are you talking about? He was like, I heard she got into a bad accident and she's in the hospital. I hope she gets better. Catherine was like, okay. So now Catherine knows that Veronica's in the hospital. Okay. So speaking of hospital, Melissa, crazy girl, okay? Melissa is off her rocker, okay? First of all, this was a monumental episode for Melissa because we finally figured out how pregnant she actually was, okay? Everybody that watches this show knows that Melissa has been pregnant for at least 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay, that's a little exaggerated, but she's been pregnant for at least like 10 months at this point. Like, oh my gosh. But according to Tyler Perry's storyline, let me get into it and I'll tell you how pregnant she is. Anywho, she's checking in with the doctor. She's real nonchalant. She don't care. She don't even care that she's alive at this point. She's quite frankly pissed off. And so the doctor was like, oh, did you know you were pregnant too? She's like, yeah, okay. He was like, well, would you like to know how the baby is? Aren't you like 8 or 9 weeks? How pregnant are you? And she said 8 or 9 weeks. And I'm like, girl, what? Like, have the seasons of Tyler Perry shows, like, the seasons of Have the Have-Nots, like, was it only like a week long? Like, was it only 2 weeks long? Like, how are you only 8 or 9 weeks pregnant? Like, I swear you've been pregnant for like 2 seasons now. Like, this is a little ridiculous. That's why you're not showing. Like, you done moved in with the lady and everything. Like, how did she even know you were pregnant that quick? This doesn't make sense, okay? Tyler Perry, call me, okay? Because I could have helped you with this storyline, okay? But anyways, only 8 or 9 weeks pregnant. Now everything makes sense. So she's asking about Veronica. What room is she in? The lady that came in with me. Is she going to make it? Oh, dang. Okay, whatever. So then the doctor leaves out. Then Melissa decides to go upstairs to Veronica's room. And she's like taunting her. She's super rude to her. And Veronica is like, girl, you are lucky that my grandbaby is inside of you. She said, yeah, you better treat me right. And like she starts hitting her stomach. And then so she needs money. So she digs in Veronica's purse right next to her and takes the money out. Veronica cannot stand this girl. And she's like, I'm not taking care of your mother anymore. She was like, I don't care. I don't care about her or you. She said, your mother's going to get you on check. She said, no, she's not. The only person I care about was my father, and he's dead. So give me this money, and I'm going to go do what I want to do. So Melissa, like, leaves out, like, laughing like a, like, crazy person because Veronica has driven her crazy at this point. Then Veronica gets on her cell phone and calls... Who did she call? Like some special judge or something. I forgot who she called. Judge Everett to get Melissa committed because like she's going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. So then we get to the bar. Candice is at the bar once again talking to Rocky the bartender. They're discussing like the rules of the game, like in the prostitution ring and all that. Next thing you know, they see a guy sitting over to the side of the bar. He comes up to them, and Candice said she can smell him from a mile away. He's a vice. At this point, I did not know what a vice was, but he's coming up to her. He's asking if she's paying, and she's like, no, I'm not a prostitute. I'm a college student. And he's like, come on, I know that you need some money. Like, I know you're a working girl. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm a student, and you're rude. You can get out of my face. He's like, yeah, whatever, and walks away. So I didn't know what a vice was, to be honest. So I went and looked it up, and a vice is like criminal activities involving prostitution or pornography or all this other stuff. So clearly he must have been like some type of like undercover cop trying to catch girls like Candice. Okay, so she slid past that, but then he walks over to another girl's table that looks like a working girl, and he's talking to her. Candice at first wanted to warn the girl, but then she decided not to because she wants to see how the girl reacts. Because depending on how she reacts, she might become a member of Candice's team. Sorry. Okay, so that's that. Then we have Detective George. He's in his office. He's talking to a person that he's working with on the case, maybe a paralegal or something. Her name is Sarah. He's organizing the case of both families, the Cryers and the Harringtons, and all the events that have happened, but he can't mend them all together and make sense of it all. He needs solid enough evidence that's concrete so that nothing Veronica can rebuttal will be able to break his case, because he knows she's a really good lawyer. So he tells Sarah, basically, we need something solid. I need you to find something solid against them as soon as possible. Okay, so Sarah goes into the hall, and then Oscar is in the hallway, and he passes her a cell phone, and he says telephone. Puts the phone up to her ear, and it is Jim Cryer. Apparently, he is familiar with this woman named Sarah, and he tells her to meet him at his hotel room in an hour. And clearly, they have some type of history. I'm assuming some intimate history, but whatever the case, clearly she's going to be able to help him in some type of way. So, we shall see what happens with that. Okay, so then the grand finale, okay? Benny and Hannah show up to Candice's door. Now, Hannah walks in and she passes Candice the note. Now, of course, Candice is not happy about them showing up. She tries to, like, argue and don't come in here and what are you doing here? Wah, 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 wah. Hannah just passes her the note and says this is from Little Quincy. And she starts reading the note, and then Hannah is like, look, he even wanted us to get it together. I don't know why you hate me so much. I apologize to you. What more can I do? We need to fix this. Candice is like, I don't have time for this. I am busy. She said, what are you busy doing? Then I think Benny said, are you turning tricks? And then she was like, actually, yes, I am. And she's like, Candice, what is it going to take? You're just dying in here. Like, we need to figure this out. Where's all this anger coming from? Actually, she didn't say you're dying in here. Candice said, what is it going to take? It's going to take you dying. That's what it's going to take. Of course, I think she's in her feelings. As much as she hates her mother, I don't think she really hates her. Maybe really dislikes her, has a lot of unforgiveness in her heart, but I don't think she hates her. So basically she says she wants her mother to die, which we know she doesn't. Then she's asking, where did all this anger come from? Vinny gets tired of it, so he tries to diffuse the argument, and he says, I'm just going to take you both home. Mommy has a really big house. And Candice is like, I'm not going anywhere with you. And then she said, and then Candice starts blaming her mother again. Like, you got my son killed. Actually, it was both of y'all fault he was killed. You begged for him so much, and you couldn't even keep him safe. Why did the bullet miss you and it hit him? You got him killed on purpose. That was to hurt me. It's not true, but it's easier for her to blame it on them. So Benny comes at her like, look, War was after you. He wasn't after us. This is your fault. Hannah's like, don't do that because she's hurting right now just like us, whatever. Just let it go, no matter what hurtful thing she says. So then all of a sudden a guy starts walking into her room. And so Benny is like, I know this ain't no John that done showed up at your room. Like, you're really about to do this right now. Dude, you can leave. And Candice is like, no, 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 stay. And in this moment, Hannah has gotten really quiet. She's not saying anything. She just has her arms folded. And like the guy is like, okay, this is not a good time, I'll leave. She's like, no, 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 come back. No, do not go anywhere. You two, y'all can leave, okay? I'm busy. And then Hannah was like, actually, you should let him go because he's your father. And I'm like, girl, what? And Candice was speechless. Like, she's never speechless. But she turned around and looked, and the dude didn't deny it. Like, his facial expression was like, dang. It's like, dude, like, this was really about to go down. Like, what? All this time, for seasons, Candice has been asking, who is my father? Who is my father? We knew her father was a married man. We know this man is a married man. He walked in. I rewatched that scene at least 3 times. He walked in, saw Hannah, and was like, oh, shoot, I know this lady. Put 2 and 2 together. These are her kids. Oh, my gosh, that's my daughter. That's why he was like, look, I'll leave. And Candice was like, no, don't leave. Then she's like, he's your father. What? Like, we might have a breakthrough here. Like, what? Like, finally, answers. Like, maybe Hannah and Candice will be able to move forward with their relationship because Candice is going to want more answers. But whatever the case, y'all, I'm so excited. Like, y'all have no idea. Like, I was on 10 this whole episode. It was good stuff. Okay, good stuff. Anywho, I don't know what's gonna happen with this, but I feel like next week we're gonna have a teary, heartfelt moment between the two, and it'll be the real reason as to why she didn't tell her. We see from the previews for next week, she's gonna be honest with Candice and tell her she didn't want her. So I don't really know how that's gonna blow over, but she was in her daughter's life, and the father was just gone, picking up working girls at bars. But anywho, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. Check me out at mrsblogaholic.com. Bye.